Well, welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. I'm Wyatt.
Justin?
Today we're going to be taking a look at the Undercrown. And my knowledge of the Undercrown is a little bit fledgling. I understand that it used to be sort of a blend specifically made for people that rolled cigars, but it turned out to be a fantastic blend. And so the, what's the company that makes these?
Drew Estate.
Drew Estate, yeah. So Drew Estate decided to just market it as they would any other cigar. So, but the cigar itself looks great. It's definitely kind of splotchy, but overall it has a typical Maduro milk chocolate sort of look to it. I've got a couple of veins, especially further down, but construction looks good. Don't see any seams. It's pretty tightly packed. There's a couple of little spongy areas, but especially towards the cap, real tight pack. Off the aroma, sweetness. Just general sweetness. How about you?
Well, mine's fine. Again, nice, very dense pack. Got a little weight to it. Seams are visible, but they're done fine. Mine has some very fine tooth to the wrapper. It's very toothy, but it's very fine. Yeah, just a nice, sweet tobacco. There's, in my opinion, some earth and some more that natural, organic aromas coming up off of the foot and the wrapper, but it looks pretty good. I'm going to get it cut up and toasted up.
We had one of our comments on another video where a viewer asked us to review this. So, if there's a cigar that we haven't reviewed yet, just go ahead and leave us a comment or email us or something and say, I really like this cigar, or I don't like this cigar, and I'd like to see what you guys think of it. This Undercrown, not expensive at our local shop, so decided to pick it up and do a review. On the first puff, I get a lot of very sweet, earthy notes. It's a long-lasting finish, but it's most all of that sweetness that we were talking about. Not too much for me. How about you?
Well, I definitely get that slight, semi-sweet tobacco. It's not as powerful in the flavor as it was in the aroma, but I definitely pick it up. Definitely goes into the finish and kind of goes clean for me. It's not super short, but it's not super long for me either. I get a nice, just like I would say, I say earth, and I kind of, earth, barnyard, just more of a natural, organic flavor to it. It's very nice, deep, and rich flavors. Kind of that, for me, is overpowering that sweetness, but I can still pick up that sweetness.
Yeah. Well, as we get into the 10-minute mark, we'll check back in and tell you what we think. All right, well, we're about 10 minutes into this Drew Estate Undercrown. I haven't got too much flavor shift. There's still, well, I picked up on that earthiness that Justin was talking about earlier. But especially in the retrohale and the finish, I just get this real, general, earthy sweetness. Not a whole lot going on. Just kind of that general sweetness for me. Burn-wise, it's been pretty good. I have a little bit of a runner here, but I think it's going to figure itself out. But yeah, so far, good cigar.
Yeah, for me, it's definitely medium to full in body, about medium in strength. Burn's been okay. I've had to do one little touch-up. Draws a little snug, but it's manageable. Flavor-wise, yeah, I just get a nice, just a semi-sweet tobacco throughout not only the front of my palate, but it just goes well into the finish. That finish is picked up for me. It's definitely lasting into the next draw. I definitely also get that earth, just a nice general earthiness of the whole cigar. It's got some nice rich tobacco flavors, and the smoke is just pumping it out. It's not completely aromatic, but it does have touches of like a nice woodsy earthiness to the smoke that's kind of pleasant, but it's not really predominant. Anyway, so far, decent stick. Let's get into the second half, or second third, and see how it develops.
All right, welcome back. We're at the halfway point of this Undercrown cigar. It's been a little bit of change. We were talking earlier, and I get a distinct coffee taste, not just because I'm drinking coffee, but especially the retro hill. It's coffee with a sort of a chocolate taste, and we equated that to a chocolate-covered coffee bean, and I think that's right on the nose. You know, it's got that little hint of sweetness from the chocolate. It's got that little bitterness from the coffee. So, again, for a morning stick, like what we're doing with a cup of coffee, really, really good. It's not overpowering. I would say this is probably good mild to medium. More on the medium side, but it's not going to, put you out for the rest of the day. Yeah, Justin?
I'd agree. Both medium in body and strength. It's kind of toned down a bit for me. Yeah, and the flavors. When we were talking coffee, to me it doesn't taste like coffee like you drink. It's the coffee bean. And if you've ever had those chocolate-covered coffee beans, to me that's right on the money for the flavor. The sweetness for me is no longer the sweet tobacco. It's the sweetness coming from that chocolatey flavor. It's still very earthy for me at the start to finish. It's very deep, rich tobacco, but it's all kind of, foreshadowed by that chocolate-covered coffee bean. It's kind of really taken the predominant role. Everything kind of molds into the finish. It's relatively long. So far, a really decent stick. I haven't had any burn issues lately. Draw's been good. So far, a really decent stick. I guess we'll get into the final third, approach the bad point.
All right, well, we're at the last third of this Drew Estate Undercrown. I've really enjoyed this cigar. I've had a couple before, and I've never really focused on what I got out of it. To me, it's always been a sweet cigar. That little bit of chocolate and coffee taste has died out for me, and it went back to that sweetness. But recently, I've sort of been getting this nice little pecan type of taste with that sweetness. It's just a nice, not necessarily light, but definitely a morning type of cigar. If you want to make some coffee and sit outside and smoke a cigar, this would be good for that. Scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this one like a solid 6.5. I've enjoyed it. It's not something that I would routinely get. But like I said, just for hanging out, it's a good cigar. I mean, I haven't had any maintenance problems. Burn has always been fine. And it definitely pumps out the smoke, so this is something that, unless you're at your shop, you're going to want to smoke outside. Yeah, good cigar, no problems, interesting taste. Like I said, I wouldn't get this one all the time, but I would buy it again.
Yeah, it's a fine stick. I really haven't had any more burn issues. Been burning relatively straight, not razor sharp, but not needing to touch up. Draw's always been good. No complaints on construction. Medium in body, medium in strength. It kind of ramped up there for a little bit in the first third, but it died down, and it's always been consistently about a medium. Flavors, for me, I've changed it a little bit. I still pick up that coffee and a bit of slight chocolate sweetness, but I've kind of picked up a nice spice. Not like a baker spice, but just a nice little pepper zing. Not really predominant or pronounced, just as in the finish, it kind of leaves a little zing on your tongue. It's relatively pleasant. I like the change. If I was going to rate it, I'd give it a little bit higher. I'd give it like a 7.25, 7.25, I guess. It's a good solid stick. I think that it is great for morning, afternoon, and evenings. I agree with Wyatt. I think this would be a great, mixes well with coffee. Or pairs well, I should say. I think, that's what I would pair it with. I think it would also go well with any scotch or beer. Just a good all-around stick. I would probably pick these up again and put them in my regular rotation, but yeah, can't really have any complaints. But anyway, in conclusion, if you like our videos, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, greatly appreciate it. Until next time. Smoke them if you got 'em.